all set?
I think we're all posted and we're all live here. Welcome everybody to a ska chat room or just a music chat room. Just to see what people are doing and how they are contributing to the betterment of music in the future. As we go into 2021. Tonight we have the gentleman from Joker's Republic here. We've got everybody introduce yourself. I'm going to be bad at this. Everybody introduce yourself.
My name's Austen.
Here we go.
Okay. I am the singer / guitarist, lead singer, I should say.
Fantastic.
I'm Billy. I play the bass and also do a lot of the backing vocals.
Nice.
My name is Pat. I play the drums. I also do some backing vocals and generally sabotage the overall talent of the band. Every band has to have a foil.
It's
That's
true.
me.
I'm the foil for Monkey.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
Who's constantly derailing the conversation?
apologies to Derek because I didn't recognize your actual screen name, and he tried to pop into the room, and I was like, "Who's this guy?" I'm all delete.
God.
And then we went live.
Actually, Curtis is lying, and he just hates you, Derek.
Yeah, I very specifically
you can
heard
always-
him say,
you can
"Fuck
always,
Derek,"
chat on
and
Nice.
If we knew how to invite you back, we would.
No, he wouldn't.
You know why Derek has that username on Facebook now? It's because of the drum card video. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, I felt kind of bad because I tagged him in the first post, his real account, and I should have asked him first, but he goes, "It's fine. I wanted to do it anyway. This is just a good reason." So, sorry, Derek, we didn't recognize your name.
Yeah.
But we would have
Like Dorian something or other, and then
But I think I popped into the wrong thing.
yeah. Billy, we lost your feed there. Looks like he turned his camera off. He probably is getting naked for the.
Nope, that's
for the.
Hell yeah.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, sorry.
That's a bit that we're gonna do.
Yeah. Oh. No.
We're all gonna.
Nice. So we haven't. So we haven't seen you guys since the crazy ska parade tour across America. With what's been on everybody's plate? What are you guys doing?
I mean, as like human beings, or as
I am. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't just like music in your band and that. You talk about it whatever you want. Talk about freaking astrophysics. I don't care.
I got Austin. You go first.
I'm more of a string theory guy.
Outside of Jokers, what I do to kind of help finance the band is I work at a grocery store. So I've been pretty much on the front line. I don't like using that word, but I've been out there for this whole pandemic work.
You're an essential worker.
Yeah, I mean,
You are. You're slinging groceries. You're feeding people.
You're essential to ska.
I can only hope one day, but
Ska is the only genre that needs groceries.
Yeah. Nobody else.
Yeah,
nobody else.
evidently. Nobody else. Nobody needs
We
groceries.
pearl menu of us $13,000. It would be very nice if you would pay us soon. Sorry.
$13,000 is a lot of food.
It is a lot of food.
But yeah, I've been on essential worker. I've been doing grocery store stuff and just kind of like getting set up to record at home. Everything I do kind of at the end game is this band. So
Nice.
I've just been trying to survive and get my creative energy back, trying to get my voice back because I haven't sung in a while. So like just trying to rebuild and start getting ready for the next project, whatever it is and whenever it is.
He's like Stella trying to get his groove back.
That's your new nickname, Austin. I'm going to call you Stella from now on.
Oh boy. Better than Mama Panda Bear or whatever that is backstage.
I like that. That's good too.
Hey, Pat, tell me a little bit about what you do. Besides, you don't work at a grocery store, do you?
Right now, I don't work at all. So coming off of the tour, I was sort of in the midst of like, sort of like a personal clusterfuck, where I was like figuring out my general life direction, and then also like sort of almost immediately coming off of the tour, I made the decision to move home from Boston. And then right before that sort of got underway, the quarantine started.
Yeah.
So that was a whole big mess. But now I'm back home and I'm living in Jersey. I get to actually practice my instrument now that I don't live in an apartment with a bunch of other miserable people above me, and I don't have to pay way too much for a practice space in Boston.
Nice.
So that's been nice.
Cool.
Yeah, doing that, being able to practice and like pursue creative endeavors. I'm working on some of my own stuff at the moment, or trying to, and then of course doing all the remote collaboration with Jokers and the things that are going to be coming from that in the near to distant future. And I painted my room.
Nice. Oh, wow.
Ooh.
What color did you choose?
It's black.
It's black, like my soul.
It's so black.
I like it.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. I need more lights, but I like it.
Nice. Billy, what's been going on in your life? What are you doing for work? What are you doing for pleasure? You hanging out with
So I'm just gonna mostly
Baby
stick
Yoda
to
there?
the work thing. So I was like post tour. I was actually set up for basically like 8 months straight of playing work. I didn't have to worry about where the next gig was going to come from until like November or December of this year. I was like kind of booked solid, plus teaching and all that stuff. So I almost left all my teaching gigs like early March, because I said, like you're playing so much that you're not going to be able to be an effective teacher for your students.
Yeah.
And it's really good that I didn't do that, and because obviously once the lockdown hit, I just switched to a lot of remote teaching, and I'm doing that. It's been really nice to practice a lot. So lots of teaching, lots of remote recording. I have a nice studio set up. Lots of exercising, that kind of stuff. Trying to keep the drinking under control. Regular things.
Absolutely. I saw somewhere there was a meme that said, "Bartenders, be understanding that these fools have been mixing their own drinks for months now."
Very true.
Whatever you give them, it tastes like water.
Yeah.
Oh, I can actually attest to that. Like, absolutely. Once we opened back up at the restaurant, it was just like, this drink doesn't taste very strong. It's like, it's a fucking martini.
Did you put anything in this? It's like,
Yeah, it's all alcohol.
did you cut this?
What's in
Man,
this?
it's like,
What's in this vodka?
we gave you a shot. It's a
Yeah.
shot.
Would you like a whiskey chaser? For sure. And then Brian, tell us a little bit about what you've been doing, the moves that you've been making.
Big moves, money moves.
I mean, after the tour, we went back and everything shut down, and I was out of work for quite a few months, and then the restaurant opened back up, and I was working there. Fire season hit though, and I walked out one day and couldn't see 100 yards in front of my house, and I was like, you know what? Nothing's changing. Fuck it. Like, me and the wife decided to come to Honolulu just for a brief stint. It's not a permanent thing. Still doing some collaboration stuff with NPCs. Just got done doing some recording for a new Bruce Lee band EP, and then Monkey's been doing all the recording and
Hell yeah.
streaming shows and stuff and things, and yeah. So now I'm just out in Honolulu swimming and
Damn.
not drinking and trying to get a little bit healthier before I go back to the Bay.
Hell yeah.
So
You work
yeah.
in Honolulu or cooking in Honolulu?
No,
No.
I don't cook. I'm a front
Okay.
house guy. Yeah.
Nice. He's going to come back with a suntan of a coconut bra.
Oh yeah.
It's true. Yeah. I'm already working on it. I'd show you, but there are kids watching. So.
All right.
Are there kids watching? God. Why?
Just slide into our DMs. We want pics. You want to know what that
Better
was?
not bring your kids.
Go play with Legos. Why are you here?
Is this podcast
Hide your
Nice.
kids.
having an after-hours segment? Because
Go play Call of Duty.
Monkey after hours.
Get out of here. Why?
All right. Hey, we got people.
Don't you got some crumbs to go snatch?
Crumb snatcher? We need a crumb snatcher. Hey, I got some people on the thread here. Bosco says many more people on today. Yeah, lots of people. Bosco.
That's because we're infinitely more attractive than Bosco. That's why.
I don't know who this is. Who is this person?
Yeah, I think.
I'm great with Taylor.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, Bosco's a cool dude. He's a bartender and a local celebrity down here in San Jose. Just being a San Jose dude, and a Vespa and Lambretta enthusiast. He knows everything inside and out. Can build a bike in seconds.
That's really cool.
Classic.
And he spins killer ska and reggae.
Yeah. Yep.
He's got
And then
a
we got,
lot of vinyl.
We got Ed Mulligan saying, "Hey guys, keep it down. Get off my lawn."
Edwy.
Oh,
Kick him out.
Austen, get off Ed's lawn.
I don't know if you can hear when you said Edwy earlier. I heard him cracking up in the other room.
Really, okay, boomer. Josh Coots says, "Yo, suckers."
Gabas.
I told him he's a sucker.
Get the fuck out of here, Josh.
What are you even doing with your life?
We got Alicia Caitlin says, "Hey yo."
Yo.
Hello.
Dave Emery says, "Josh is my hero as a drummer." I don't know.
Okay.
You know, Josh
And then Dorian, aka Derek,
There we go.
aka guy that I kicked out
All right.
of the room, accidentally said, "I think I popped into the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I work for a government contractor now. Promise I was planning to do it anyway." Mike Wilkins says, "What's up, cuz?" His old starving musician royalty there. We got Kevin Bell saying hello from Bournemouth, England.
Wow.
Bournemouth.
What up?
It is midnight in England. So that's how bored he is.
nuts. That's wild.
What are you doing here?
Go to bed. Or do something else.
Yeah.
He's like, "Listen, mate, I can't sleep." Jesse Stuckey says, "Hey, what's up?" Yep, lots of people. Liz Armstrong says, "Hi, Brian," and then there's a lot of champagne emojis.
Champers.
Al White says, beers, and high fives. Yeah, and so now we're all caught up.
Beers.
Oh,
I feel like we've accomplished a lot here,
We
gentlemen.
Very good.
So,
Are you not entertained?
Josh Coots says, "I will say, Brain, I have never been so high until that tour."
Who are we?
You're
We can't help you
welcome.
with that, Josh. We can't help you.
Who are we talking to about that? I was talking to Eric about that.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
A couple
god.
weeks ago we did, and I was like, Eric, I have never seen so much marijuana in my life. And he was like, yeah, this is just kind of how it rolls on the West Coast because it's like it's sort of
I've
in
never-
the-
Oh, Molina?
yeah.
Yeah. Molina is actually,
The
he
chat.
is fine crafted from marijuana. They just
Yeah.
get together and then puts
Well,
It was a-
hearing it, though.
Yeah, he just like pasted himself with hash oil. Like, yeah.
By the way, he's on the thread. He says, "Yo."
It's like Frosty the Snowman, but it's Hashy the Marijuana Man.
Yeah.
Does Alf attend every show?
Nice.
That's the question we just got.
No.
He's getting in the shadow somewhere.
He's a special guest. He flies
Yeah.
in from Alpha Centauri.
No, Alf is as much as I'd love to say that we have Alf all the time, we don't, and that's probably good.
No.
That's like
It's a special occurrence. Well, it wouldn't
Yeah.
be special if it happened at every show.
He parties a little little too hard too. You gotta watch out for that alien.
It goes pretty ham.
That's true.
For sure.
And he does some crazy stuff in the bathrooms.
And boy, does he sweat a lot. Let me tell you.
He's a sweaty boy.
Sweaty boy. Hey, what are you guys working on? What's the new music? What's happening? How you?
So right now we've got about, I would say, long EP albums worth of original material.
Wait, you said one EP and two albums worth?
Somewhere in between a short EP and a long album's worth of original material.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much ready to go. It's
A short EP and a long album?
no, it's somewhere between.
a long EP.
Somewhere between a long EP and a short album.
Oh,
So tell me, Austen, is it short or is it long?
It's medium.
Like,
Perfect.
you see it's somewhere
average.
between
The average. Next question.
somewhere between a
How
long
thick is it?
EP and a short album
Yeah.
is what I meant to say.
One man doesn't ask about another man's album.
Hey, size doesn't matter when it comes to albums.
Hey, I hear if you take a little blue pill, that album gets bigger and bigger.
Oh my God.
My God, the bonus distraction.
It becomes a much more solid album.
we just all we do at band practice is work on our albums together. So yeah.
Everyone's focused on the length of the album. No one talks about the girth of the album. It's also important. I'm just saying.
You guys wondering why the Facebook censorship on this video explicit yet? This is
Casually explicit.
Oh, God.
So let's get this straight. Your new album,
8 or 9 songs.
your
Ready
new,
to go.
Just gonna rub it in a little bit. Oh yeah.
your new
Oh, it's
album
nice.
is called Girth. Got it.
God. Oh my God. That's fucked up. Oh my God.
So we've got an extended EP pretty much ready to go that hopefully we'll be able to add into as we continue to flesh out the songs a little bit. But before that, we're going to put out a couple more covers. We owe our Kickstarter backers from the tour an 80s cover that we are currently workshopping right now. And that'll be the next thing we put out, maybe a couple more so we can learn how to record at home better. And then we'll put all of our attention towards the original stuff. We got a couple more things we got to work out behind the scenes, but it's all good, and we're very excited for what 2021 is going to bring. If we're lucky and we're on top of our game, we should be able to come out swinging with a new album and hopefully a tour.
Nice.
Nice.
That's the it's
As Brian Sisko on the comments says, that sounds extra medium.
yes. It is like right in
medium,
the
yeah.
middle. Right
Extra
in the middle.
medium, I think, is a good place.
That is so medium.
The biggest thing for us has like honestly been logistical. Like we all live nearby, but like Austen works in a grocery store. I'm around kids all day, you know, like, and like we all have family members who are either immunocompromised or sort of in older age brackets. So the thing is, it's like there's sort of a lot of like life things that are stopping us from all just sort of getting together and, you know, writing a new record, you know?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of steps that happen between Austen having like the structure and framework of a song and the chords or the melody or the like sort of like an idea, and then when it ends up being a final thing, and all those steps haven't happened yet, just because we're like, okay, this would be great, but none of us would like to get coronavirus or give it, God forbid, to else.
Right. Yeah. Well, because that process is usually that process usually consists of spending hours and hours in my basement hashing things out.
Yeah.
Which at the moment is not a viable option. So we have to do it sort of semi-remotely.
So when you guys write,
just like
you guys mostly do it all together in the same room, right?
If possible.
Do you have someone that,
sort of?
Do you have some people that bring stuff to the table, like a wholly written song, or do you choose to write most of them with a group?
That's Austen.
The way I was in passing or in past was I would come in with pretty much 95% of the song written, verses, choruses, all lyrics, chord progression, maybe a rough bass part, and definitely ideas of what I wanted the drums to do. And then I bring it to the guys, and we would be like, all right, well, this intro is kind of lame. What else can we do here? Or, this is getting a little monotonous. Can we change the section? Something along those lines. And the way I like to jokingly describe it is I come in with a ska song and they go, okay, can we not make this ska? And it's like, it's too much ska.
Yeah.
So the other two guys, Pat and Billy, really balance it out, and that kind of makes the Joker sound, is that idea. But with this new record, I kind of want to change things up a little bit, because that was done on a very contingency kind of basis. And looking forward, we're looking to be a full unit. One of the things behind the scenes we have to work out is that agreement. So I think the next album, if they're down for it, I'd like to get more of their input on the writing and actually make this a band.
Yeah.
Or as Billy used to, again, jokingly describe it, me and friends. I want this to be a unit.
Right.
Yeah, there's a comfortable space somewhere between one guy writing all the songs and an entire band trying to construct a song on the fly. There's a comfortable space, and it moves left and right. I know that during the early years, I had a lot of guys that I'd say, hey, I have a new song, and I drop it on the table, and they say, well, why are you writing all the songs? We can write songs too. And I'm like, okay, cool. We'll write a song, and then we just
right,
yeah.
And what's happened is the band has now flipped, and now it's the absolute opposite scenario. The guys are tapping on my shoulder, going, hey, when have you written a song? And I'm like, oh, geez. I don't know what to do. So I mean, I'll be honest right there with all of you, including Brian, my band member there. It is a thing that ebbs and flows, and it's a process that even I, having written songs for close to 30 years, still don't quite understand it. It just comes. And if it doesn't come, then you got to look for something else in as far as inspiration goes.
Yeah, and that's kind of the reason why the extended EP is so short, because the way I like to approach songwriting in general, because one of my biggest fears is they changed their sound, they sold out. I try my best to be halfway through a new record by the time the current one comes out. So by the time Falling Behind dropped in 2019, I was already halfway through this one. And had songs written. I put on bonus song on digital physical version of Falling Behind, the flash drives that we had, as a bonus song from this new album on it. Just to prove, hey, this is as naturally evolving as it possibly could.
No.
And, there are certain hallmarks that make a Joker's Republic song that come from all three of us, but in my writing style specifically, that's something we're going to have to learn to balance is, this is a unit now and we need to make sure we act like a unit, but also we can't compromise what makes us us, and turn of phrase and vocal harmonies and just all that kind of stuff needs to stay intact while also entering this new era of Joker's Republic.
Yeah, I think one of the things about the songwriting process that I think works really well for us is that I am a dog shit songwriter. I do not have I think I've written probably one good song since I was 16 years old, but I'm pretty good at the bass. And I have an ear for hearing the final picture of a song. So I thrive in a situation where I can add and change and rearrange parts and sections of somebody else's structure. So when Austen come in basically with a canvas of a song, and he could be all right, so here's what I think, and then I can sort of work within those confines and say well, how can we make this a little different or more towards what my ear is hearing without sort of compromising the integrity of the piece in itself. You know.
There's times we fought on that before, but that's part of the process. We love each other. We know that it's epic. It's service to the art.
Oh yeah.
So, we're willing to have that fight and duke it out over what we genuinely think is going to make the song better. And at the end of the day, it usually does.
It's so stupid. It's so dumb. We fight over dumb shit.
Perfect example is on our last record, Politics Belong in Punk Rock. the drum fill intro there.
Hours.
Initially, it was an homage days. Not even days. It was an homage to Anarchy at the beginning, which every punk band ever has done. But that was kind of the point, was to make it a callback. And Billy and Pat were both like, "All right, this is kind of boring though. So what if we did? Because Pat doesn't really have a lot of solo time on this album. What if we did a drum fill?"
Yeah.
So I came up with the idea. All right, let's start with like that Discharge, the D-beat style, and then Billy goes in the studio. Pat, just like rip. Literally,
Just do it.
How long interest is just rip, and he pulls out this like Buddy Rich bullshit. I'm like, that's so not the point of the song, but also it's so
not.
bad.
It was because we were in the studio like we were in the
Not even like.
No, we were in the studio fucking around with it, and they said like just rip like for the intro, and so instead of it started with, instead of half D beat, half fill, it was like I think it was like 4 beats of fills. It was 4 beats of like ripping.
I think I played,
and then it stopped.
Yeah, so like it's just he plays this amazing drum solo, and Billy and Ryan, the engineer on the album, are just like, "Holy shit, that was amazing!" And I'm like, the art now is like getting in the way of it. Like, this is not the point.
Right.
It's cool, but like, are we doing this just because it's cool, or are we doing it because it serves the song?
Yeah,
and eventually we came up with the compromise of start with the punk beat that sets the feel for the punk song, and then go nuts in the second half, and like snare in the first part, tom in the second part, and just like rip there. And ultimately, I think what we came out with was a happy medium that fits the song and the song.
Yeah.
So that went back and forth for 2 weeks between us.
Oh yeah.
Just trying to decide what we were going to do. But again, ultimately, it was worth it. And that drum fill is like, we play that in Jersey, and people immediately know what we're doing. And it's like, you see, when there is a pit, you see it open up a little bit because they know it's coming.
Yeah.
That's the Jersey drum fill.
People love the drum intro. They love the drum intro. I get a handful of times where I get space to rip out in the open and just like, and actually like appear competent to the crowd.
Yeah.
And that's one of them. I like,
Yeah.
And that's when you're like, what is the rad drum fill, and that stick just shoots at the roof, and you're just like,
it's just gone. It's gone. I don't have an extra because I'm dumb and I don't keep an extra. I'm just like, I'm not gonna break
Just
or drop a stick.
And then Austen has to keep the crowd enamored by eating really hot chips.
Yeah, so we keep the Pocky Ghost chips on hand.
Don't remind me.
Did you get the one chip?
Came out with a donut, and my girlfriend looks at me and goes, "You're trying it. I know the story." I was like, "Oh no."
Good. Found a keeper, Austin. There it is. All girls want.
See, my only question is, how bad was your shit the next day?
Oh no.
Honestly, that was fine. Like, it was the moment that just killed me, and then we went for tacos immediately after at a place that Kurt from Hans Gruber recommended.
Oh yeah.
Which I thought was going to
so,
be a mistake. Great.
That was like the most New Mexico experience of my entire life. I was like,
It was the place that
was like,
it was the place that like was sort of.
That was the newest Mexico experience.
it
Was that
actually
the
my
taco-
only Mexico experience?
Was that the taco place that was like sort of built like a gas station?
It was the one where the cops walked in at like 2 a.m.
Yeah. That place was dope. They had great stuff.
Yeah, it was.
That food was amazing.
Yeah, Dirk.
I mean, I was
That was, oh man.
slammed as well. I was fully slammed, but the food was good.
Sorry, Pat. Derek just popped up in the comments and said farts in Denver were the worst.
Fat sandwiches, yeah.
Wait, was that the hotel with the snow where we got the snowstorm?
I think so. Yeah.
Like it was like second day
day.
we got snow. Yeah, those farts were awful. It was all night. We had to keep opening the door, and it was so cold out, but we had to.
Oh my god!
It was such a
Oh,
small
God.
room, and everyone was just ripping ass.
Let them out.
That's
Let them be free.
I'm really glad that wasn't going on at the Airbnb.
Yeah. By then we sort of,
I would have.
Yeah, surprising considering everyone who was there.
I might have thrown you out of the house. Just
It was like, we spent like.
We'll get to the house in a second. I have a funny story about that. But
right.
the trigger was so bad that we were in the middle of playing 007, like Nightfire on Billy's computer, and Pat just texted Billy, I just ripped ass so bad, but nobody noticed, so I'm just not going to say anything. But that was his mistake, because Billy then just starts, like, he drops the controller, he starts dying, and I look at his phone, I looked at Pat, I was like, oh no.
I was like, why'd you tell me?
I got a ass ripping story from Monkey. Kurt, you remember that post sushi show we played in Truckee?
Oh Jesus, yeah.
When we went out to sushi. So we went out to sushi. We ate so much fish, and then we get on. And then we get on stage, and it's this tiny stage, and we were 6 piece at the time, and it's this tiny-ass stage, and every single person in the band was just ripping ass the entire show. Just
Sushi farts.
Just sitting in the cloud. And the door to come into the bar is right next to the stage. No. So people would come in. People would come in from, like, and it was cold outside. Like, it was up in Truckee. It's like not quite winter, but it's still cold outside. It's just like 30 degrees or whatever. So people would come in all cold, and they just stop and be like,
Just a face full of ass.
"What the fuck is that?" And they walk into the bar. I used to play bass for a face full of ass.
Oh,
There it
you
is.
still do that joke.
We were waiting for one. Someone had to do it.
I can't tell you.
So
I
good.
can't tell you guys the amount of time we spent on that tour talking about pooping, actually pooping, worrying about if we were gonna poop, and then all of the sort of like fart protocols. It was sort of like, it was like, okay, we know we just had Mexican food, so in the next 12 hours we're gonna be in the middle of the drive, and we're gonna have to stop, and it's cold outside, boys, so we're gonna have to open the windows, but we don't want to do too. And there was like all of these like logistical concerns to make sure everybody can go to the bathroom, and so like
We
that
never
was
even
3 weeks of that.
There was a protocol in the van where if you ripped one in the van, you didn't say anything. You just opened the window on your side of the car.
And everybody goes,
And we
ah!
knew who it was.
Just,
And we never
like, owned it. Oh,
Well, because it became
That we did.
That way
it
it
became
just
too much
swirled
work to
around
be like,
really
oh, guys, I have to fart, open the windows. Yeah, right. And then when it was cold out, it was a balance between like whether you thought you would be killed faster by how cold it was or by the fart.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And people,
Quality
and
live
people
streaming, ladies and
Well,
gentlemen.
that's why we
It was
go on
wicked
tour.
cold.
I mean, really.
Yeah, it's you get
Oh
over it.
man.
All right, what's your house story?
Whose house
What's your
story?
Do you?
Oh yeah, Austen.
Oh, okay.
It was a monkey house.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm telling the story, and Curtis might remember it. For anything watching during the Ska Parade tour, Monkey and Jokers and Ska Boss shared a house. And I was the last one to do my laundry that night, so I was also the last one to go to sleep. So I crashed on one of the couches, and I think Curtis was right next to me. And I don't know if he remembers this or not, but because I was just so tired and I had so much that day, I passed out, and it's so loud I picked myself up, and then all I hear is Curtis go, Jesus fucking Christ. It took everything else the strength I got. Winning! Not die. I had to pretend I was still, and I didn't notice it. I just like, I'm sitting there, I got my pillow put up, I'm just like, trying to hold it in so bad,
Hide your
and then
shame.
I was just like, oh no.
Were you like a dog that startled itself awake from a fart?
Yeah. And then I heard her say that, I was like, oh, you know this.
You just wake up and start barking at the ceiling.
Oh, no.
You know what? It's awkward.
Oh,
So, sorry, Kurt, for that one.
Forgiven. Hey, quick question. So what I like to do with these is kind of at some point talk about like how we as a community of musicians are going to push the thing forward. Like what are we doing to contribute to that? Now I know that you are part of the New Jersey Ska Society. Is that am I stating that right? Or
So,
part of a collaborative?
Ska Society is just kind of like a group, like Cult of Ska or whatever it's called now.
It's just a
They change it
Facebook
every
group.
month. Yeah, it's just
No.
what we do to try to support the scene as much as we can. When we first started gigging seriously, there were no ska shows in Jersey. There were a bunch of bands, but the promoters didn't really know what to do with us because we were pop punk bands, but not really. You played us on a metal show and it works, but not really. All of the punk shows were DIY underground DIY shows. So what I did was started an unofficial promotion company and started booking my own. So I book shows in Jersey. I do my best to bring touring bands through, and if I can't do it, I point them to somebody who can. And recently, for Jersey, with What Do You Know About Ska Punk, I put out a compilation of only Jersey bands as a little play on the old hardcore comp. We called it Bidness Jersey, not CA.
Yeah.
And the idea with that was that CA was supposed to fire back with their own comp, but I don't think that ever came to fruition. Either way, I'm super proud of the Jersey comp just because we're amazingly proud of the scene that we're a part of, and we raised a decent amount of money for some pro BLM charities to help the cause, which all of us were kind of super sensitive to, and we wanted to help. So that's, I think, the biggest thing is that.
Yeah. Another thing. We also just I can't believe we haven't talked about this. We just released a Christmas song on a Christmas ska holiday compilation that you guys are also on, which is sort of a huge sort of nice way to and productive way for everybody to create and do some music and get into the Christmas spirit, and also just raise some money for a good cause. It's just. This year has taught me a whole lot about ways to use my voice and my talent as an instrumentalist to amplify other voices and to donate money and to get other people involved and to get people fucking fired up about this thing that we do and the way that it relates to everything else going on in the world.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We want to push the ball forward. Want to make sure that everybody continues to recognize that there are musicians and people in the bar industry and people in the sound tech industry and people in the people that clean up the bathrooms. All those people are unemployed right now, including musicians. So so cheers to all of them for having to go through.
Yeah, for sure.
A better thing for everyone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Clink.
Yeah.
That's fun.
By the way, I think that's your microphone, Brian, but it's really windy. It's like. There you go.
Yeah.
Just gonna keep my face like that.
There you go, Pat. Perfect.
Yeah, someone sounds like.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm out on my lanai in Hawaii right now. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. It's windy right now.
Turn it down.
I'm really.
Turn it off.
So sad.
I don't think
Yeah.
It's the
Awesome.
world's
I'm a
smallest violin.
Yeah.
Nice.
Would you like some cheese with that wine?
Yes, I would.
I just cracked open a bottle of red the other day, and I have not had any wine in years, probably 5 years or so. And and I was like, damn, I enjoy it. The last time I had wine was actually on We went on a Southwest trip in just a couple months ago, and I had white wine at dinner, and it was horrible. It was like, I got white wine. But then this bottle of red was really nice. Really nice. That's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Wine welcomes you
stand by
back to
it.
the world of wine.
Yeah. It was good. It was
Sorry.
good. It was good. Yeah, man. Well, geez, I mean, I cannot wait for the day that we start touring again and we can get out to
Yeah.
the New Jersey coast.
Yes, please.
We'll do an Airbnb in Jersey.
We were talking about
Just like 2 doors down from where you guys live,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
just like
basically.
to have it.
Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah.
I played in we played in Jersey once, like 20 years ago, just ridiculously long time ago. It was at a tiny little town out in the cuts, and it was we played at the firehouse. So they rented the firehouse out to like a what do you call it? Like a banquet room in the firehouse, and they rented it out to bands to play. And,
Yeah, the DFW,
yeah, something like that.
Or
something along those lines.
It's the
I can't remember what town it was.
The VFW. Is that VFW?
But the
Yeah, like
VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars.
Yeah, that's like that's definitely a
My
hallmark.
for Jersey, yeah.
Yeah. It's like there's lots of DIY.
My hallmark show.
It seems like in Jersey, one of the things that I've noticed being a quasi-promoter is that the scene is kind of split in Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have this really dedicated DIY scene with DIY venues. Some of them are semi-notable for one reason or other. I think the big one by us is the Meat Locker, which is the basement of a French restaurant trying to be Gilman Street.
Okay.
And you know what? As much as we like to be elitist, they're succeeding. Like
It's a great.
when we were talking to the Holophonics, another what's it called? Another ska parade tour alum. They wanted to come out to Jersey this year, and they were saying the last time they came through, they were just looking to do another Meat Locker show, which, I mean, at least to me, kind of blows my mind because we've had the privilege of playing some amazing places, and you got real stages and places where these amazing artists have come up, and you want to play Meat Locker, really? But they're doing amazing work, and that scene is really, really, really dedicated to that kind of show. On the other hand, you have a club scene, which is more where we fit in. And you have the venues and the capitalism, pay-to-play kind of stuff going on that we deal with because we think it's worth it for one reason or another. And those bands and the DIY bands very rarely, if ever, mix.
Yeah.
And then you have your own satellite, so like the ska scene, the punk scene, and then that's the only time you'll ever see those bands kind of collaborate is if there's a dedicated ska show going on, a dedicated punk show, dedicated metal show. Then you'll see the club bands and the DIY scene kind of get together, but otherwise it's two completely different worlds. And I don't know if it's like that anywhere else, but it definitely is in Jersey.
Yeah, I think it's out there. You have pockets of that everywhere. I think that the clubs are to be a club and to say that this doesn't work for whatever reason. Like I don't like country. Well, guess what? You just lost all the money from the country people. Well, I don't like reggae. Well, you just lost all the money from the reggae people. So as a club, you want things you want money to be flowing towards you. I need to keep the doors open, and that's always a weird thing to be in the middle of because the club they have their likes and their dislikes, but they don't voice it, and the promoters are like trying to make something happen, and they're either really centered on a specific sound or something, or they're trying to do the same thing the clubs are, and sometimes it's not a good marriage. Sometimes they don't match, and then sometimes it does. The end result is promotion is always swept up in the end by the bands. The bands are like, "Oh, please come to my show," and sweep those people into the room. But meanwhile, it's kind of toss-up as to who is even in charge of a show at the end. You know, the end result is the show just happens. You know, it's just a bunch of like-minded people thinking like-mindedly and inviting like-minded people to a like-minded place, and then poof, it either happens or it doesn't. And I think that a lot of artists yearn for the special thing, right? Where everybody's so into it. It is like the event to not be missed. And that really does generate fervor. But there's so many bands out there and so voters and so many venues that it's very rare that you get everybody on the page like that. But
what I found what I found is like in our scene, there's sort of like there's also a really big sort of more like corporate music scene on the East Coast, especially in New York. You know, lots of wedding bands, club bands, event bands, party bands, 80s bands, 90s bands, covers bands, jazz trios, everything. So like the thing is like that's a lot of the work that I do to like pay the bills and stuff. And the thing is, I've had some of my best gigs doing that kind of stuff, you know, gigs where I end up, you know, dancing on the bar for, you know, 4 hours and sucking down beers, you know, like in the, you know, in Midtown and stuff like that. And that's always great because it's very safe. There's no doubt that you're going to have a good time. If I tell you that we're going to play Tom Petty and the Rolling Stones, you know that you're going to get all the drunk moms in their 50s who are going to have a great time at your event, you know. And all the guys and all the guys walk away with $300 each and everybody has a good night, and that's great. But the thing is, like, there's a big gap between that and then between making original music and then getting people to come out to see your original music, right? There's so many different sort of like steps on that ladder, and one of the hardest things is that, right? Finding how you're going to make compelling original content, market it to people, and get them excited about seeing your band and making a great live experience so that people go, holy shit, I want to come see your band because, oh my God, it sounds so much better than the record, and I want to hear all the cool, dumb stuff you're going to do. And so that's something as a band we always try to do. We always throw in weird covers and like little shticks and like stupid stuff and like things that you're not going to get unless you come see us live at insert venue here, you know?
Yeah.
And I
at any given point. No, go ahead.
You go, Pat.
We do put on a very entertaining performance, and we have a lot of things in the live show that you don't get in the record. I think we translate very well as a live band. It's just the hardest thing is getting people to give a shit long enough to come to the first show. Yeah. You know, getting someone to see you that either like has never heard you before, doesn't know you, etc., to say, you know what, I'm going to take a chance on this band I've never heard of and come to their show. And after they come to the show, you know, they realize like, oh man, this is fun. You know, this is even if they're not into ska so much, like most people can't deny like, hey, that was a fun show. You guys put on a good performance.
Yeah, for sure.
Getting them to give a shit long enough to come to the show is the hardest part.
Yeah.
Because once
they see Austen fall to his knees,
got you. Yeah. Then you're part of the dumb stupid club.
Pat, your audio.
Yeah.
I take issue with people that.
The delay on that was so bad.
What'd you say there, Brian?
I was saying I take issue with people that say they don't like ska, not just because they play in ska bands, but it's like every single one of them. I hate ska. I don't like ska, and then you're done playing a set, and they're just like, "That was fucking great." It's like
that was ska.
That's because you like ska. Like that was ska. That's because you like the music. You like it. You just
right.
Absolutely.
Going back briefly,
you know? And you're like, oh, what ska bands do you know? And they're like Sublime. And you're like, okay, okay. Here, listen to these 500 amazing bands. And they're like, oh shit, I had no idea that ska started in the late 50s, early 60s in Jamaica, and was heavily jazz influenced and calypso-y, and like, this is amazing. I could dance to this. Like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And so many people are just like, I don't like it. I don't want to go out to a ska show. I don't want to waste my time at a ska show. I don't like ska music.
I think also it has something to do with where they heard of ska in the first place. If they were accosted by some young kid that told them they were, okay, old man, okay, you don't know what Streetlight Manifesto is, then screw you. The reality is that there's so many different. It's such a layer cake of options. I mean, you take like Jimmy Cliff right over here. Being ska and rock steady, amazing, right? And then you fast forward to the British scene, and you're seeing the Specials, and that's just explosive and amazing, and the Clash, explosive and amazing. And then you're like, it can't explode any harder than that. And then you see Fishbone, and you're like, what the fuck? And Fishbone rewrites the language of ska. And then you're like, it can't get any crazier than this. And then you see the bands of the third wave coming in, and even like Operation Ivy and stuff, just kind of showing like, yeah, you know what, you have mixed it with punk, you've mixed it with funk, you've mixed it with rock. What about gutter punk? What about metal? What about Eastern Jewish Orthodox music? Like, it's crazy. It can fuse with all these styles, and then deliver something that is that has an organic, like, heartfelt feel to it, and that's why I like it. I like pretty much every layer of the layer cake. Although sometimes I'm more partial to this or more partial to that, but that's everybody, Oh, look at that! I gotta turn that off. Hold on.
Oh, weird.
Just like an asshole. I bet you leave your phone on in the movies too.
These millennials and their phones can't get away from them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You damn young, you whippersnapper.
Come on, Curtis.
Going back to what we were talking about earlier, with the live show aspect, I feel like that's such a major, important part of the music that we do too. Like, it's impossible to have a bad time at a ska show. It doesn't even matter who you're seeing. Like, every ska show I've ever seen, from the most chill, laid-back bands like the Slackers and the Scatolites, all the way up to the high-energy Streetlights and the Fishbones and like those high-energy punk bands, like, it's just so important to be there at the show. And that's something that I definitely take to heart and try to incorporate into Jokers, is that we don't ever play the same show twice. Whether it be changing the set, or not planning the banter, throwing in Fort Collins, we threw in that Real Big Fish cover that we had not practiced as a band for over a year.
Yeah.
We just did it. And it could have gone horribly, but you know what? That's part of the show. Or, extending a guitar solo a little bit and messing every note up because I didn't plan it, but it doesn't matter because I look around the room and everyone's smiling, and that to me is what makes it worth it, and why I chose ska as the voice for my art. And sometimes that's a little bit. There will be moments where I'll jump into a bit that I planned and didn't tell them about, and then they just won't roll with me.
We try.
Also, there are times
when Austen calls audibles, the whole thing descends into chaos.
He's like,
when we
I don't
did that
mean
beer,
to throw anybody under the bus, but could you check under the tires for me?
When Billy and I don't call audibles. Billy and I do not call audibles. There's only one person under the bus.
We were sort of taken along.
And to Austin's credit, that cover of beer, that beer cover that went into Self-Esteem, that was again like pure chaos, but it worked really well, and everybody liked it.
Yeah, there's sort of a lot of moments where I will turn around and I'll look at Pat and be like, okay, this is what the thing that we is doing right now. We're just like, okay, and it's like, well, because the thing is like, Austen is very good about giving nonverbal cues, so he sort of like, he'll sort of if we're doing something new, we will telegraph. He'll sort of like telegraph a thing, and he'll start to be like, all right, I'm gonna do something new, which first of all, panic button. You've hit the button. That means like, okay, so like my ears are up, which means something new is about to happen. And then he'll usually try to give me at least a chord progression a couple of times through before I'm expected to come in. And so like by then, and like I'll sort of like, Pat and I will try to like, sort of like mind meld some sort of groove out of it. And like by that, once we've gotten to that point, once it's going, we're going. And then it'll be fine. It's just that It's that first moment. It's the like, oh, are we gonna do this? Okay.
It's the one face where you know something's about to happen that we didn't plan, and it looks like this.
Yeah.
He turns around, he's like,
have you
when you have people in the band who are better than you can do that shit.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen the
What's that?
I didn't hear you. You guys are talking.
I was going to say, have you guys seen the new Pixar movie Soul?
Not yet.
Okay, watch it. Just for one thing, there's a thing in it that they try to visualize it, try to show all the non-musicians in the house and all the non-artist people in the house something about the zone, right? So they try to visualize the zone. You get to see the spirit when the spirit is locked in the zone. And as musicians, we all know about the zone, right? We know about the zone where you're just playing and all of a sudden it's just like suddenly everything slows down and you're looking around the room and then you just feel like this like burst of like, this is fucking awesome. And you don't know what it is, but then afterwards you can talk about the zone with other musicians and everybody knows about it. So I encourage you guys to check it out just because they try their hardest to conceptualize this for the rest of the world. And it's interesting. It's interesting. Coming from a musician, I watched and I was like, you know what? They got pretty close. It's a little bit deeper than that, but I'm glad that someone talked about it. Because there is that thing that you can't describe. Where someone starts something or someone's thrown off and then you guys lock in, and that lock-in is just so tight and you remember it to the day you freaking die. That one show, someone did something and you just all locked together where you thought it was going to fall apart. And that's,
you just can't describe it, Curtis. It's
like
a sofa in France.
France is like a sofa that you can't describe. Inside joke.
We'll tell him. We were recording the song "The Curse" for Monkey on was that on Bananarchy?
Oh geez, The Curse. Yeah, I think it's on Bananarchy.
Yeah. Okay. So we're like listening back, and the line is, "Friends, this is something that you can't describe."
No, it's the curse is something that you can't describe. That's the
curse.
The curse is something that you can't describe.
Okay. Well, I think the original line was, "Friends, this is something that you can't describe," because it came out very clearly as "France is a sofa that you can't describe." And we're like, what the hell is this? Kurt, I think you need to change the lyrics a little bit or sing them better.
They used to write it on set list. They'd be like a French sofa.
Yep. This is also the same recording. That he tried to put lyrics to one of our instrumental songs called "Caffeine," and he has the best line ever. To start up a song, which is "La Vida Loca, I Need a Mocha."
Very good.
And he literally got that line out, and everybody in the band was like, "Nope, this is an instrumental now."
Oh, no.
He's like, "No, let me sing the rest of the song for you guys." We're like, "No, this is an instrumental now."
This is why I'll never invite band members to be these.
Oh my god. This is a Curtis roasting session.
Yeah, right.
You son of a bitch, Humphrey.
Curtis roast.
Son of a bitch.
I am a son of a bitch, Humphrey. You haven't even tried it yet, guys. You son of a bitch, Humphrey.
Hey, so we're at the 1 hour mark here. So if anybody wants to use this time to talk about any releases, anything they're doing, whether it be a new album, whether it be a collaboration, whether it be something cool they're building at the supermarket, a cool tower of toilet paper rolls at the supermarket, get it out. Get it out.
Billy should probably go first.
Yeah, let me think. Lots of like personal stuff, but I guess the big thing is I play bass in the Housebound Ska Collective as well, which is like sort of an accidental thing that turned into a real thing, and we're very excited about it. And we've got another. We just released 2 songs this month. We did Christmas Rapping by the Waitresses and Killing the Name by
nice.
Rage Against the Machine, which worked about as well as you could possibly expect it to work. In that context is what I will say about it. I was skeptical, and I am pleasantly surprised. Is what I've gone with for the for the cover. And we've got a bunch of other sort of more over the top and ridiculous things coming up next. Our next cover is if you thought Killing in the Name was a stupid idea, you're really going to be excited about this one. Is probably the next thing.
Oh.
So that's what I will say.
Oh no.
Yeah. So that's
Nice.
that's the latest for me and them, and you'll see more of us. Plus, hopefully, hopefully some more covers from the Joker's boys coming soon as well.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely covers coming. We're using the opportunity and the equipment that we all just got to put down all of the covers that we've ever done on tape. The ones that we think are worth putting down. If you're a fan of our beer cover, you probably won't see that one because we do it very straight. But I can say for sure that most of the ones we do at the shows will be recorded and released somewhere
at some point.
Then we've got the 80s cover coming out, which we are discussing the song for now. It's going to be new wave / alternative. That's all I can say right now. And then after some behind the scenes stuff and getting everything together, a new album and hopefully a tour ready by 2021.
Nice.
In Ollie and the Magic Bums, which is a cover project that only does Tony Hawk songs, and you should expect occasional uploads from them as well. We started on our second cover, and I'm just waiting on parts to track to for that one.
Nice. Yeah, on my end of the NPCs, there should be one coming out here pretty soon. They've had all the parts in for a little while now, but I think there is a little something holding that release up, but that should be a pretty good one. I think you guys will really enjoy that. And then I just did the last tracking for the new Bruce Lee Band EP that's coming out, which is angry. It's the best I can put it. It's a little more aggressive, I think, than the last few Bruce Lee albums that have come out, which is very, very fitting for this year, especially when you got people like Jeff Rosenstock working with Mike Park to write all this stuff, and he had his album come out earlier this year that was absolutely pissed off, which was amazing. But yeah, so the releases on my end, the Bruce Lee Band thing, and then the NPC thing, and then Monkey's about, I don't know, halfway done with an album. So we'll have more of that probably in 2021. So, and yeah.
Nice.
That's about it.
Yeah.
For releases.
Nice.
Very nice.
Pat,
Me? Oh,
yeah.
Jesus.
What are you doing?
Well, at the moment, most of my resources are going towards Joker stuff. Billy and I actually did a little thing on the side, although I'm not sure where that's going to be published or under what moniker. but just sort of just doing some
Internet.
some little covers on the side, and then I am working on some original material, but it's so not far along in the process that I don't have I don't have an artist name or any recordings just yet. But conceptually, keep it in mind. Look for my face. I don't know.
Nice.
You know what? You'll feel it when it comes out. You'll know.
Nice.
It's when I'm ready and it's ready. You'll be ready.
Oh, I'm ready.
All right. Well,
I'm ready.
that makes one of us
ready.
All right. Well, when it comes out, you two will be the first to know.
We got Ed Mulligan says, "Do you guys think that all these collaborations will help shape the live show comebacks? Quote, post-COVID, or will everyone kind of go back to their prospective quote corners and try to quote forget this hell called 2020?"
Why so many quotes?
I think.
No.
I think that there's going to be sort of this like huge novel explosion for about 6 months. I think everybody's going to get really fucking excited, and everybody's got to get in there, play a bunch of crazy ass shows while it's hot, strike while the iron's hot, and while you can get your friends the friend who you text and you're like, oh yeah, next week I'll come to next show. Like, you get them out, get them while they can, because by 2 years from now, everybody will go back to the shocking indifference of the past.
Yeah. I said to somebody else at another one that I expect it's going to be 6 months of like just awesome fervor, like this is going to be even bigger than the last one 3 minutes ago, and then it's just going to turn into a melee of like drunk Santas beating each other up.
Yeah.
That
sounds good to me.
I think
because
I think
Santa's is a
good.
good metaphor for it, because it's going to feel like a late Christmas present in a way, like with the insanity that is going to ensue with all the fans that have been stuck at home dealing with the live streams and the albums, which are great, but it doesn't compare. So it's going to hit, and then if you're lucky and you're in the right place at the right time, you might actually do something.
Yeah.
But if you don't keep on top of that and you're not ready when it's time, it's very easy to get swept out of the way of that.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think we might see up to a year of the fervor, but after that, it'll go back to a lot of what it was before. Though who knows? Maybe the DIY scene will actually be stronger. Garage shows will be a thing again.
Yeah.
Never know.
They do say that after every pandemic is a renaissance, and that renaissance lasts for like a pretty long time. So right now you've got people that are sitting in basements. You got people like me sitting in a basement making podcasts. You've got people that are sitting in other basements making pottery, other ones making poetry, other ones making prose. That's all going to come at us full force. And
it's going to be all lots of pee. There's going to be pee all over the place.
But yeah, I think everybody's going to run to execute every artistic desire that they've ever wanted to do, and that's why it's important for us to talk like this, because our fans can see that they aren't the only people that are thinking like, man, I should like write a song, I should like write a poetry, or like a book, or make this sculpture, or do this painting. Yes, you should all fucking do that. You should all do that. This whole world should be just an explosion of art and creativity. That's what I want.
Not even just the pandemic, all the time.
Right.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for hanging out for the hour. Once again, this is Joker's Republic, and Austen, Billy, Pat, and Brian from Monkey joining us as a dueling monkey. Excellent. All right. Well, thanks a lot for being part of this, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks for having us, Kurt.
Have a good night.
All right.
Have a good
Bye,
one,
guys.
guys.
Chris, we love you guys.
Later.